Hello student. Today we are going to discuss the topic climatic factor. As we know that there is two different types of factor we call abiotic factor and biotic factors, which influence on the different types of living organisms. Say for example plants and animals. Both of these animals and plants were influences by the factors, particularly abiotic factor. Abiotic means means absent and biotic means living. So abiotic factor means non-living factor. This non-living factor includes a climatic factor. And in a climatic factor, most important factor is light, temperature, water, atmosphere, fire. Water includes atmospheric water, rainfall, precipitation, soil moisture and many other type of water. Say for example, water in the form of glaciers. Atmosphere includes gases and wind. So this is nothing but the climatic factor. We are going to concentrate on the light as a climatic factor. Now light is defined as brightness that lets you to see the things. Say for example, during the daytime we can see the different things, and during the night time we are unable to see the different things due to the darkness. So the illumination which is produced by a source is also known as light. For example, bulb. When bulbs illuminate, as it illuminates it will produce the light, and this light is nothing but the source of illumination. Light is not only important for plant growth, but also it is for the flowering and germination of the plant is also important. Now moving to the next point, that is plant uses light as energy source to convert inorganic substances like CO2 and water in organic material like glucose, amino acids and lipid by the process known as photosynthesis. So simply we can say that light is important for the production of food material which is utilized by herbivores, and later on it is utilized by carnivores. So if light is absent or in absence of light, plant cannot produce the food material, and as food material is not produced, the herbivores will die, and as herbivores will die, obviously carnivores cannot survive. So the total food chain we can say will stop, and due to that light is most important parameter or factor in ecology. Light has a unique spectral composition. So whatever we are observing, say for example we are observing the daytime light, all these are nothing but the spectral composition. So this diagram will easily show us the light spectrum. We called it as a wavelength. So there is a two types of wavelengths basically. One is known as long wavelength and another is known as short wavelength. Long wavelength includes broadcast band, radio bands, radar, microwaves, infrared. These are nothing but the long wavelengths. Whereas when we talk about short wavelength of light, we call it as ultraviolet rays, X-rays, gamma rays, cosmic rays. These are nothing but the short wavelengths. Now to the human being or a normal sight of our eye, we cannot observe this particular short wavelength and long wavelength. Whereas visible light is there which ranges from 400 nanometer to 700 nanometer, which is visible to our naked eyes. So this image, this figure shows different types of wavelength. So the first wavelength is radio wavelength, second is microwave, then infrared, and later on visible light is there. These visible light ranging from 700 nanometer to 400 nanometer is only visible through our human eye, and that's why on the one side you can observe the eye is shown, and that particular eye, human eye, is having the visibility of 700 nanometer to 400 nanometer. Now again you can observe the coloration or color pattern is there. On the top you can observe at 700 nanometer you can observe the red color, then you can see the orange color is there, then you can observe yellow color, then green color, blue color, then indigo color, and later on you can observe the violet color. So this is nothing but the color pattern which changes according to the wavelength. At 700 nanometer you can observe the red color, and at 400 nanometer you can observe the violet color. So this is known as VIBGYOR. So VIGYOR, VIBGYOR, sorry, VIBGYOR is there, and that VIBGYOR is nothing but the color pattern. Violet is there, indigo is there. So likewise you can observe the pattern of light, pattern of color according to the wavelength. So 400 is the smaller wavelength in visible light, whereas the 700 is the maximum wavelength of light color which we observe. Now what is the effect of light on animal? Animals are dependent on light for orientation, migration, reproduction, and many other activities. So these activities is influenced by light obviously. For example, orientation. Polar bear, which is always found on the north pole or south pole, is due to the light intensity, whereas different types of birds migrated during the light changes. So migration is also dependent on the light, then reproduction is dependent on light, and many other activities are there that are reflected by the light effects. Animals are either diurnal or nocturnal, depending on the light we can say. Now diurnal means the animals which shows movement activities during the daytime, and nocturnal means the animals which shows the activity during the night time. For example, cockroach, bat, rat, owl, these are the animals which shows the activity during the night time, and that's why they are known as the nocturnal. Whereas human being, we can say, is a diurnal because we do the activities during the daytime. जे ॲनिमल्स रात्री काम करतात, रात्री बाहेर निघतात बिळातून, त्या सगळ्यांना नॉक्चर्नल असं म्हणतात, आणि जे ॲनिमल्स रात्रीऐवजी दिवसा काम करतात त्यांना सगळ्यांना डायर्नियल असं म्हणतात. सो सिम्पली वी कॅन से दॅट लाईट इन्फ्लुएन्स द ॲक्टिव्हिटी ऑफ द ॲनिमल्स. Now migratory birds like a flamingo you can observe, which comes during the change in the light intensity of the periods. So they travel from long distance to Mumbai suppose, and after the particular light intensity again change, they will go back to their home places. Now we can move for the next parameter, that is effect of light on plants. Now we know that the plants are most important parameter that produces food by the process known as photosynthesis. So here we called it as a autotrophic. So plants are autotrophic and they utilize the sunlight fall on the leaf, and in a leaf carbon dioxide and H2O, they combine with each other and they produce the glucose, and the carbon dioxide get emitted from the plants or comes out of from the leaf. So that is nothing but the autotrophic, and this autotrophic method or process is totally depend on the light. If light is absent, then this autotrophic mechanism will lag or stop. Along with that autotrophic, the canopy is most important parameter which is controlled by the light. Say for example, when we enter a dense forest, we cannot observe the lower plants like grasses or other plants, because the light penetration to the soil is very less, and due to that what happens, canopy will change in the dense forest. Whereas when we go for the grassland ecosystem or grassland part, we can observe there is no any shady places is there, and that's why grasses will grow very well. So this canopy means growth of plant will vary depending on the light intensity. Along with that, the photoperiodism is also the mechanism which is controlled by the light. Later on we can discuss photoperiodism. Deep sea visitation also changes depending on the intensity of light. Say for example, here you can see this is the sea level, suppose, and this one is the sun. Now sun rays comes to fall on the sea, so the intensity of these particular rays will different. Say for example, for the top layer it is highly intense. As we enter to the lower side of the sea, we can observe this particular intensity will reduce, and depending on the intensity of this light, the visitation will change. Even